What's up, my people? It's your host, Wray, and welcome back for another episode of the Wray Show. Today, I have an inspiring friend. I'll let him introduce himself in a little bit. But again, an inspiring friend is, somebody I've been watching from afar, somebody that I admire from afar, and they inspire me to do better. And I want to put them on a platform. I want to spotlight them, and hopefully they can inspire you as well. You can take it over, my guy.
What's going on, Al?
What's up?
Name is Johnson Mesidor. I'm from Polk County, Florida, Winter Haven to be exact. Been knowing Al for about 11 years now, a little over 11 years. Little about myself. Went to Weber International University, graduated with my business degree. Been married for 5 years now. It's coming up on 6 years in July. We have two beautiful kids. My son, he's 6 years old, Tristan, and my daughter, she's 2 years old. And basically a little about myself. I'm a high energy guy. I love to laugh. I'm real laid back. Once you get to know me, a lot of people call me shy, or once they get to know me, they know I open up and I have a good time. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. That's just you in a nutshell. You are a very interesting person. So the first thing I want to open up with is, you did say you graduated from Weber, but before you got to Weber, you had a bit of a journey getting there.
Right.
I think your first stop was Clearwater Christian, correct?
Clearwater Christian College.
Christian College.
That was an experience.
Your experience there.
Yeah, I would say, some would say it was a bad experience. I just call it more like a lesson to me. Because I remember having an incident when I graduated high school. I ended up getting a stomach infection. So the school that I was planning on going to in Virginia, once I got the infection, that scholarship situation, that was out of the question. I was in the hospital for like a month, and I lost a lot of weight. So that whole year, that 2007, I took that whole year off. And, I wasn't even planning on playing basketball anymore. And one of my friends from high school went to Clearwater Christian College and said, was I thinking about playing again? So I said, yeah. He contacted his coach. I got with the coach, told me to come out for a workout. So I went for a workout. He said he loved my game, wanted me to sign. But what I didn't know, I signed everything, got accepted. But what I didn't know is the rules that came along with going to that school, a Christian college. So I got there, everything was fine. Went to orientation, everything. And I remember that next morning when I got on campus, I was still dressed in how I usually dress. And one of the people from admissions called me and said, hey, you can't wear that. I said, wear what? I just got jeans and, button-up shirt, a collared shirt. He was like, you can't wear that. Did you read the handbook? I was like, what handbook? He was like, the handbook that you got in orientation. And when I looked at the handbook, it was a book full of stuff, the do's and don'ts, the can, what you can't do. And from then on, I was like, man, what did I get myself into? And just that whole year was like, it was like a blur to me, because it was like me being in, like, a lot of people that go to that school was students that went to homeschool. So they're not used to what we used to in a public school.
Yep.
So it was just a lot of things that, normally you would do at a regular high school that you couldn't do at the college, like wearing shorts. Couldn't wear shorts. If you wore Nikes or athletic shoes, it was because you was going to the gym. You couldn't just be around campus. You couldn't speak to the opposite sex, or you couldn't be too close to them. It was just a lot of things involved. In that first semester, I was ineligible because I didn't have a certain score on my ACT, so I had to sit out that first year. And then they just treated me, that first semester, they just treated me like I wasn't a part of the team. And until I got my grades right and I was able to join the team the second semester. And as far as the competition, I learned a lot of things basketball wise and spiritually. That was what I took from it. I got to learn more about God and his purpose. And for me, we used to go to chapel every morning and have mandatory to go to church on Sundays. So it was a lot of life lessons that I learned going there. But after that first year, I just wanted more out of my college experience that I didn't get at Clearwater, that I couldn't get from Clearwater. So that's why I decided, to transfer and go to Weber.
So people may or may not know this, but we ended up at Weber at the same time. So
Right.
While you were transferring from there, I was graduating high school, and I'm going to go back to the first time, and I don't know if you remember this, but our first time meeting. So like this is like summer of 2009, probably like June or July, and I'm going down there to sign a letter of intent, and I go down there, not sure of what to expect with it. Don't know who's going to be there. I just know like coaches are going to be there. So They get me there. Obviously I brought a change of clothes to play in. I get changed, and it's you, it's Mike Bonilla, and it was this guy named Adrian Fletcher who was only there like a year once we got there. It was the four of us, and coach put us through like, it had to be longer than an hour. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something. But it was dreadful because the stuff we were doing was meant for like a big group of people, like maybe like 6-7 people.
Yeah, I remember that.
There was only four of us, so it was like we were going in pairs, 2 on 2, and they were just pushing us. And I remember I was like dead tired, and I'm like, I gotta get in better shape if this is what college ball is about.
Yeah.
And something that stuck out to me was like, because I thought like this was like the team. I'm like, these the other guards, and I'm taller than all of y'all. So I was like, oh, I ain't gonna have no problem.
Yeah.
Obviously, once the real school year came, I realized like people are a lot bigger at this level. So that's something that stuck out to me. Do you remember that time?
Oh yeah. I remember. I remember you stepping out the car, and I could see you from a distance, and I was like, yeah, he's pretty tall. But what stood out was you had on this bright yellow shirt with colorful shorts on. Like I think it was like plaid shorts.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, I don't know why, I just thought of Young Dro, because Young Dro the rapper, he always had like some fruity colors on, real bright colors. And I was like, man, that's Young Dro, man. He looking like Young Dro. And I just remember y'all going around the campus, and I guess y'all were just touring the campus and everything. And I think that was the same day I signed my letter of intent. And I met your parents. They spoke to me. I built a relationship with them over the years. And we went to the gym and worked out. And I was just I seen all the other guys. I was just trying to impress, because I didn't really prove anything to coach. Because when I first got there, Junior, when he signed, and when I was thinking about what schools I was going to, he was like, you should try Weber. I know the coach. And I was like, okay, I'll try. And then when he introduced me to coach, he was like, oh, this is my friend Johnson. And he took, like, at first he was like, oh yeah, okay, all right, cool. And I was like, I told him, I said, I want to come here. I'll play JV. As soon as I said that, he was like, oh really? And I was like, yeah, I play. I play. I just want to get from where I'm at. I'm at Clearwater right now. I know you remember me from when we played, because we actually played them during the season, and I had a pretty good game. We still lost, but I had a pretty good game to where he remembered who I was. And I told him, I said, you know what? I play JV. If that's where I got to start off at, I'll play that. I'll play with the JV team. And he was like, I got to know him, and we spoke a little bit. And then I went from there. We did that workout. I just wanted to prove that I belong, because the different brand of basketball I played at Clearwater was like, I would say that was like still in high school. Like that's the level it was on. But it was some games that was intense, but for the most part, the level of competition wasn't there. So when I got to the workout, it was other guys that, that was better, stronger, faster. And I was just trying to prove to coach that, I belong and I can play at this level. So that's where it started at.
What was your favorite year at Weber? I'll say from my point was like on the basketball court was senior year was my favorite year. What was your favorite
Yeah,
year?
yeah. Mine's too. I would say just being a college student athlete, my first year was the best year, which was my sophomore year. It was like a lot of parties, a lot of everything because I wasn't used to it. Like coming from Clearwater, we couldn't do nothing. Like my idea for fun, like to have fun at Clearwater, you had to maybe like you go to the movies or you have a group of people doing devotions, which is not bad, but I wanted, after seeing like movies like Drumline and all these other, I'm thinking, this college supposed to be fun. We supposed to have parties. We supposed to, things that come with college, partying and drinking and all that stuff. That's what I wanted to be into because that's, being the youngest of 8. I was always in the house. My parents pretty much kept me like sheltered. So I'm ready. As soon as I go to college, I'm ready to, have fun. I'm ready to wild out. But, my first year as a student athlete, my first year was the best. But basketball wise, my senior year, same with you, my senior year was the best because it took us a while to gel. But when we did, it was like you could really see us really progressing. And that year, that was a special year for me because we finished being second in the conference and had a chance to go to nationals if we would have beat Embry for that third time. But just seeing people open up, because at first, I know I had spoke to Pace at the end of the year, and I told him, how much he motivated me to be a better player. And that one time we had an issue, he came to me, he was like, "Man, you're not the same. I see you in practice going through the motions. Like, what's up?" And that day when all of us was in that room and we opened up to everybody, that's when people that used to be distant, like you only see some certain guys at practice and you wouldn't see them until the next practice, until we started hanging out more. Like Jakeem, he was the one that really didn't open up at all.
Yeah.
And to see him come out more, to see him around campus, to see a guy like Paige that was like real nervous at the beginning, like to open up with his feelings and how he grew up and stuff, to see guys like that open up to us and really buy into what we was trying to do that year was special. And that was my favorite year basketball wise.
And I think those
and
are
on top on
what you about to say?
Go ahead. No, on top of that, even though statistically that was my worst year, but I had an issue with buying into what coach really wanted me to do. It wasn't about me scoring. Yeah, I scored when they needed me to, but it was really I had to accept my role, and it took me a while to do that. Because Pace just really took over everything. And once I really bought into like, okay, Pace is the scorer. He's gonna get us. He's our assist guy. He's our leader. And you got other guys that can help. Buy into what we trying to do. It just made once I bought in, it made my game more easier. I just had to go in, play defense, score every now and then. But once I accepted my role, that's when we really took off because I was so like stuck on, I got to score this, or I got to take my man, I got to beat my man. But once I bought into what coach needed me to do, when I had that meeting with him, and he was like, "Well, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this. I need you to do this." And when I bought into that, that's when we really took off.
And that's how if you look at any great team, whether it's in basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, the best teams are when once everybody comes together, everybody gets along, which what we had, like everybody was friends. We all hung out together.
Right.
We had people who, like you said, Jakeem, who normally like stay in a shell, opening up, people hanging out. And then the other thing is people accepting their role. And that's, I'm sure in business, in sports, like whatever it is, once people accept like the role that's meant for them and not, I want to score all the points or I want to be the face of the company or whatever it may be. Once you fit your role that's for you, and that's when the best teams shine, and that's why it was my favorite season, being a part of that program. So, did your 4 years at Weber, or 4 years at Weber, graduated with your degree. You mentioned that you're married. Is that something you accomplished after your time at Weber, or it was during your time at Weber?
Yeah, it was. I actually got engaged that summer going into my senior year. We had been talking for a year, and we had a relationship prior. We had class together in high school, mm-hmm. but she had a boyfriend, I had a girlfriend, and once we got back together that summer, I told her, I wasn't with, the games, I'm not trying to set you up or anything, and she had just got out of a toxic relationship. So I was like, you know what, since we both went through the same thing, it made us easy to gel as quick as we did. And a lot of people, the outside looking in, was like, man, you need to slow down. Even my friends was like, man, y'all spending way too much time together. Like, what are y'all doing? Yeah, you need to slow down. And I just knew the conversations that we had, that this wasn't just no regular, ordinary relationship. We're going to make something of it. And I remember we started talking, and she was living with her godmom, and I was already planning on getting my own place that summer. Mm-hmm. She wanted to get out of her situation. So I was like, you know what? We both working. Why not get an apartment together? So we end up getting an apartment. And that first day we moved in, we had dinner. She cooked dinner, and I proposed to her. And we got engaged. And so I remember she ended up buying me a ring too, which was kind of odd. She bought me a ring. I got her a ring. But as a promise to her, I wore my ring all the time. And I remember that my year going into my senior year, everybody was like, man, I remember Mike was saying, man, what you got the ring on your finger for? He's like, you married? I said, nah, we engaged. He was like, man, what are you doing? Like, I remember a lot of people used to laugh. Mm-hmm. A lot of people used to laugh at me like, man, what are you doing? Like, you engaged? But you engaged, you're not married. I was like, well, I know the promise that I made to her, that eventually, once all this over, when I graduate, I made a promise to my mom, I'm going to graduate. I'm not going to get, away from what I told you I was going to do, what I was going to accomplish of graduating. So after I graduated a year later, after we had our first child, Tristan, my son, after we had him, we ended up getting married. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been July 3rd will make 6 years. So I'm 5 years in. I'm waist deep in this stuff.
On that, man, for lasting this long, a lot of people don't even last a year or two. So
yeah, and honestly, that first year, we're married, but we're more like, it's like a homeboy, homegirl type vibe when we're around each other. Yes, we still go through marriage issues, the growing pains of being married, but overall it's more like a friendship. You got to build that friendship before you even think about being married. You got to be able, my pastor told me this before we got married. He was like, it may not be, popular what he say, but it's best for you to live with that your spouse before y'all actually get married. So you'll be able to live together, and different pet peeves y'all have with each other, y'all can get that settled out before y'all actually get married and settle in and start living together. Because if you don't, if you're not used to living with somebody, or they don't show you that other side of them when they're alone or at home, it's gonna bother you. Because a lot of stuff bothered me about her, like simple stuff like hair and being in the bathroom, just different things. Or when she get home from work, she just throw her shoes, different little things that you got to learn to like live with, mm-hmm. like put up with when you married. It might be small, might be little, but those little things can turn into big things and big issues, and that's why a lot of marriages they fall. They don't make it because they don't know how to live with each other. They don't know how to look at the bigger picture. They might take something small and blow it up to where if you just talk together, have that communication, have that friendship at the beginning, then that will set the tone for your relationship in the future.
Yeah, it's all about compromising.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
Definitely.
So yeah. So we in it 5 years. Hopefully making another however long, because hey, sometimes you be thinking like, man, this ain't what it is, but it's easy to give up. The hardest thing is to keep going. We got kids now, so and they watch everything that we do, whether we argue, we fight. So we try to limit like what they see. If we have an argument, if we disagree on something, okay, we'll talk about it. Not in front of them. We'll talk about it. Oh, I'll talk to you later. But we don't never like hash it out like how we used to, where we yelling at each other, because we got kids. They watch everything, and they always go for me. Once we argue, plenty of times we argue, they come for me. Tristan either trying to push me, Robin, she trying to hit me like I did something when you don't even know it was probably mommy fault. Oh, it was probably mommy fault. So yeah, man, just having that communication and that friendship and what the relationship was built on when we first got together. We both came from I know with me, I came from a situation where I thought the girl I was dating was going to be it. And then once she went to college and she got a taste of that college life, that just turned her whole, you know what I'm talking about, that turned her whole mindset around about what she wanted, what we was trying to do. And that scarred me for years, to where, I didn't care who I hurt along the way. I didn't want to be in a relationship. And then when she came along, she went through the same thing with the guy she was dating since high school. And she was just looking for a fresh start. And we both kind of connected together and made it work.
Hey, man, that's some great relationship advice.
Oh, yeah.
You're the first person I interviewed who gave some real deal relationship advice. That was awesome, man. So I want to move on into something you did. What month was it? Month of March or April?
April, yeah, April. So it started. What's that?
So go ahead and let the people know what you did in April.
So the end of March, because of the whole COVID-19 virus going on, my gym that I go to, they closed down. So they temporarily, how it is. So I wanted to challenge myself. I said, you know what, during this virus, all the gyms are closed. I'm just getting to where I feel comfortable with my body. I'm getting back in shape. So I said, I'm not going to lose this momentum I got. So I have some things here. I have dumbbells here. I got my resistance band. So I said, I'm going to do some home workouts here. After like 2 weeks, I ended up injuring my elbow. I wasn't able to lift anything. I couldn't lift my arm up over my shoulder or nothing. So I said, you know what? After 2 days of resting, I said, you know what? I can still run. So I started running. I went to a local trail by my house, like 5 minutes. Started doing miles. I started off doing a mile, 2 miles, and I downloaded the Adidas running app. So when I did that, I started to track my miles each day. Each day I would go out there, and I said, you know what? If I'm coming out here doing 5 miles a day, I'm gonna challenge myself for the month of April to do a 50-mile challenge for myself, just to keep me motivated, just to keep me, when I wake up in the morning, hey, I got something to do. Let's go out there and run and stay in shape. So I started tracking my miles on the 1st of April. Track my miles. And I noticed during the middle of the month, I noticed I hit like 43 miles. I was at 43 miles, and I said, you know what? I got there pretty easy. I still got like 15 more days to go throughout the month. I said, let's shoot for 100. I said, even though it looks, I said, it's a lot of stuff I have to do because I work on the weekends and I know I'm not going to run Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if I do run or when I run, it's going to be that Monday through Thursday. So I started running, trying to reach that goal of 100. And I noticed it was getting closer to the end of the month and I was still short a few miles. And I did the math and I was like, man, I'm not going to make it. Mm-hmm. So I started doing more miles each day. I would do 5. I would do up to 5 each day. But then I ramped it up. I said, you know, I found this trail that was 6 miles, 6.5 miles. So I said, if I run there and back, it'll be close to like 13. So I did that a couple times. And soon I had 2 days or 3 days left to spare. And I hit 102 miles for the month. So I accomplished my goal. I started off by saying 50 miles. And I got closer to, I got to 42. And I said, you know what, I'm going to shoot for 100. Even though I thought it was too far-fetched. And I was like, no, I don't know. I did this all wrong, man. I don't know. I bit off more than I could chew. So I did that. And by May, I had hit 100 miles. And I accomplished my goal.
Oh, 102 miles.
102 miles.
If I put my mind to it, I can run 102 miles.
Oh yeah, man. It's all about motivating yourself. Like that's what I try to do. Whenever I start something, like even when I'm running, I tell myself, don't stop. Don't stop. However long it's gonna be, like the 13 miles I did, man, the last I'd say like 6 miles, man, my legs felt like jello. But I said, if I stop, I'm not gonna start back up again. I'm not gonna wanna, get my body up to run the last 6 or 5 miles. So every time I run, I said, okay, I put my earbuds in and that helped me zone out, listen to music, and that keep me motivated. And I kept saying like how good I'm gonna feel. Think about how good I'm gonna feel when I hit that 100-mile mark. And I kept that in my head. I said, every time I look at it, it was to a point where I didn't look how many miles I had. I just did it. I just went out and ran. Because every time I kept looking, I was like, okay, Monday, I got to do this many miles just to reach that goal. Until I said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to keep running. As many miles I can do, I'm going to just do it. And I hit it. For like a day or two left to go.
Takes a little bit of motivation. Obviously, you got to be equipped with it. Like you said, you're already in some type of shape.
Right.
But for anybody out there, don't just get up and start running and going for 100. No way. Obviously, got to.
Oh yeah, you got to build up to it because it was one like a few years ago. I remember I couldn't do a mile without stopping, and I think the app really pushed me because it's telling you when you hit a mile your pace, and each mile you go, it tells you how much you slowed down, and it's just like motivating you in your ear. So that's another thing. And each day I ran, whether it was 5 miles. One time I ran a mile with my son, and I just try to beat that time. Mm-hmm. Each time I go there, whether it's 2 seconds, I beat it. I feel good about myself. Or that last lap around when I see I'm coming up on that 5-mile mark or that mile mark, I try to push myself to beat that time. To where now, I did a mile, and it was like at 6:40 something, the fastest I've been in since high school. Mm-hmm. And just keep pushing yourself. Each time I go out, I just try to do better than the next day.
So I got this. I'm not a big fan of running, but I recently bought a bike, as I told you. So I'm not gonna shoot for 100 in a month like you. I'm gonna try to do 100 miles in a week. That's what we might do. So I'm gonna keep everyone out there. I'm gonna keep you in tune.
Right.
I want you to be my motivator, like checking in on me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And whoever else out there who wants to, check in on me and try to keep me to it. My goal is going to be, since Johnson ran 100 miles, I'm not running 100. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm not running 100. I'm going to bike, I'm going to cycle 100 miles in a week. That's my goal. I'm gonna get that accomplished before at some time in the next few weeks. I'm gonna get it done. So, as I said, you didn't just hop out the bed and were able to run that 100 miles in a month. So, for the past, I don't know how long it's been, year or so, probably longer, you've been on like this health and fitness journey.
Right.
So, I remember you posted a picture, might have been a few weeks ago, of your transformation you went through. You went from 234 pounds in 2016, and today, present day, 2020, you're 167. How did you do it? What did you do, man?
Well, like I started my fitness journey like 4 or 5 years ago, and it started off with me, getting that gym membership. I told myself, hey, if I get this gym membership, I'm paying for it. I might as well go. So I said, you know what? Get that gym membership, and that's like forcing me. That's motivating me to go, because every time they take that money out of my account, I'm like, man, I had 30. Oh, it alerts me every time they take it out. So I'm like, oh man, I didn't go this week. So that kind of motivated me to keep going each week, each day after work, or anytime I could, just to go out there and get 30 minutes in, get 40 minutes in. And it's funny because I remember when I first started going, I would just get on the bike. I would just get on the bike because I was so overweight and so out of shape. I just get on the bike for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I'd be like, oh, well, I did something. I'm out of there. But then I kept motivating myself. I would see other people when I scroll on Instagram, different people that I follow for motivation. And, they'll just be telling me, they'll be telling the public, but I feel like they're speaking to me like, okay, go out, go to the gym, get some work in, put some work in. So each day I would just find different things to do. And the biggest mistake I made was every time I worked out, I would jump on the scale right after and see how much weight I lost, which every time I would go in there. I remember I used to have a sweat bag, a hoodie, a sweater, like, sweats on, and try to sweat and feel like, that's how I used to do in the past. If I wanted to drop 5 pounds or something, it was easy for me. But now that I'm older, it takes it, whether it was depression or whatever the case was, how I was eating, that weight wasn't coming off like how I thought it would. It didn't really depict what the work I was putting in, thinking I was going to lose that day 4 pounds or 5 pounds, or throughout the week 10 pounds or so. That's what I was thinking. If I work out real hard, I'm a shed like 5 pounds a week. But that was the wrong way of going about it. So throughout them 5 years, I lost. I remember losing 5, 10 pounds, and then that last, I think that next 5 or 10 pounds, it was so hard to get off, because every time I would work out, I would jump on the scale, and it would kind of like, I wouldn't say it kind of like, it got me in a funk to where I was like, man, I don't feel like working out this week. I'm not losing the weight that I thought. At first I was motivated, but then seeing how, my weight is not going the way I want it to, I'm not going this week. But each time, it's now to where I'm seeing my progress and seeing the work that I put in throughout them years. You just got to keep pushing. Just find that motivation. For me, I've always said, my kids, I had, right after I graduated college, a couple months later, my dad ended up passing due to his health. He had health issues. He had a heart attack. So, and that was because, he wasn't eating right. He had high cholesterol that runs in our family. And it's crazy because the last 2 years of his life, I really seen him change, the way that he eats. He was getting off pills. His doctor prescribed him a lot of pills. He was taking less pills. Now he was in good shape. He was staying active. He worked a lot. So, it kind of threw me for a loop when he passed because of that. And I told myself, he was, I think, 53 when he passed. I told myself I want to live past 53. And now that I got kids now, that just motivated me even more to get back in shape. Yeah, I want to look good. Yeah, I want to be able to take my shirt off when I go to the beach. Yeah, I want my wife to be like, oh, man, ooh, man, you looking good. Like, I want to have that feel. I want to catch her eye like I did when we first met. But more important to me is, being here for my kids, getting my health back right. So each day I just have it in my head, okay, I ain't gonna worry about how I look right now. Just work out, just work, just put in work, whether it's 45 minutes, if I can get in there for 30 minutes, however long, I just put in that work and it's gonna pay off. And then on top of that, I changed my diet too. I'm now a vegetarian. So now I just try to eat low carb diet. I took out all the meat. I'm talking about everything. No meat. I haven't had meat in a year and 5 months now. So I really seen a big change that last 20 pounds or so. Because overall, I lost 67 pounds. So, but that last like 20, 30 pounds came off like this once I changed my diet. So you can work out as high 3 days a week, 4 days a week, all week. But once you change your eating habits and you change your diet, you're really gonna see, the gains that you want, the weight loss you want. So it all starts in the kitchen. And I never understood that when they said, oh, your body is not made in the gym, it's made in the kitchen. And it's right. Once you get your health, once you start eating the right things and get your health back right, your body is just gonna transform the way you want it to. And it's to a point now where I feel confident in myself. I'm sleeping good. I have more energy to play around with my kids. I'm not as tired as I used to, sluggish. And I'm just happy. At this point in my life, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited my fitness journey. People ask me all the time, how did you do it? And now I can actually tell them, okay, I did this, and that. Instead of, I'm just going to the gym. Now I can tell them the proper ways of how I did it, how I gained all this weight, overeating, being depressed, not feeling like I didn't have the time. But now it's to a point where I can tell them my story and motivate them to have their own journey themselves.
That's awesome, man. Those are some great words. Again, people, now you can see why I have people that inspire me, and hopefully the words that he just spoke were inspiring to you as well. So last thing I want to get you with is still part of your fitness journey. Probably a week or two ago, you posted on, I think it was Instagram. It was this thick old book.
Oh yeah.
What book was that? Let the people know.
So, right now, that book was a study guide. It's like over 230 pages, real thick book. It's a study guide for my online personal training exam. That it's a new journey that I'm starting right now. I'm trying to get certified to be a personal trainer, and I signed up for it in February, and it's now May. So I started off doing it every week, 2 times a week, and then I noticed when I clicked on the link that it was a study guide that went with all the chapters. So I said, okay, I've been doing the lectures, I've been listening to all the lectures, the PowerPoints, I've been doing the practice quizzes and everything, and I noticed that the study guide is what I really need to be focusing on, because I can use that when I'm taking my test, when I'm taking my exam. So I realized that I did everything backwards. So I got to redo everything and start from scratch. But yes, I'm in the process of getting my certification to be a fitness trainer, fitness coach, personal trainer, however you want to call it. But that's my new passion right now. And I'm focusing, putting all my energy into that so I can help make the next person have their own fitness journey.
It's all about giving back, man. So anybody out there in Polk County, Winter Haven area, my guy's about to be a personal trainer once he passed that test. So make sure you hit him up and you get right with him, because obviously he just told y'all he knows what it takes. So I trust him. If I was down there, I'll probably get right with you. But that's all I have for you, man. I appreciate you for coming on to the show.
Yes, sir.
It's always an honor. I love giving spotlight to people that I look up to, who inspire me to keep pushing and doing what I do. So love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.
Look, I'm just trying to set the record straight. If this a fight, then I'm a heavyweight. Super light, I'm in the darkest place. Suit and tie me in a car.